Mm-hmm.
Which tool do you use for retopology right now?
3D. 1 second. It's in my
Okay,
hotbar.
okay.
3D coat.
3D code, okay. I think 3D code is pretty decent as well, but I haven't used 3D code personally, but I've just seen videos of it online. So there are multiple tools like 3D code. Uh, there was Topogun, and there is Maya, of course, and you can also do it in Blender. So there are multiple tools. Like you can have your preference, whichever it is. So when I started in Blender, but uh, in Blender it was a really slow process. Wait, I'm gonna share my screen as well. Okay, you guys can see my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so in Blender the thing was like I had to like extrude, like all I could do was keep extruding faces to create multiple faces, and that's how we did things in Blender. But in Maya the workflow was a lot different, and it was pretty quick as well. Let me just reset everything in here. So, okay, so in Maya, uh, it was a very basic workflow. You just import a file. For example, I had this bullhead over here. Okay, so this is the high poly mesh of the bullhead. So what we have to do is just click this head, and there is this magnet button over here to make it live. Uh, it says make live. So basically what make live means is like whatever mesh I'm going to create after making this mesh live is going to stick to this bullhead. So if I click make live, so whatever I create now is going to stick to this head. Also I cannot select this head now. uh, if I want to select this head, I can remove this make live option and select it again, but I don't really have to select it now. So I'll just choose I'll go to modeling toolkit. It's on the right side of Maya over here. Like if you can't see it, you can just click over here and you will find it. Just go to modeling toolkit and go to quad draw, and that's pretty much it to get started in Maya. And then you just put dots for wherever you want to make the mesh. For example, if I go start by the neck, so I'll just make 4 dots over here. I made 5. Also I think I have symmetry on, so I don't really need symmetry right now, so I'm gonna turn it off. Okay, so I'm just gonna make 4 dots over here. I just left click to make dots, and then I press shift and go over here, and I can create a plane. So we can, let me undo this. I can just keep creating few more dots before I create the planes. So this is it. I press shift and drag, press shift, click and drag, so this is going to create the mesh, and this is it. That's how you get started in Maya for topology. And now that I have to extend this mesh upwards, so I'm gonna press tab and wait, let me remember. Okay, if you press tab and click, it's going to extrude it from here. And if I want to extrude multiple a whole loop of a whole edge, so I'll press tab and middle click and drag, and it's going to create something like this. So that's the basics of how to get started in Maya for retopology. And so I have created a basic loop for neck. We don't usually get we don't usually start with the neck. We usually start with the basic loops that we have to make for our model. For example, if we are doing the face, the basic loops would be eyes, the nose, and the mouth. So it's better to start with these. So when you're getting started, like it's a fresh model, so when you're getting started, do not get started with small, like very detailed retopology, because if you start with a small retopology, it's going to hurt you later when you have to clean something up. For example, if I create a lot of small, for a lot of undos. Okay, if I create a loop around this eye, for example, this is me I just press the tab and drag the mouse, so it created these lot of polygons. I don't prefer using this tool, by the way, because it creates a lot of messy polygons. So now if I want to change something or add something, these are a lot of polygons to take care of now. So this gets really tough if you have lots of polygons. So it's better to create few polygons. For example, I'm going to create this sized polygons for first, because later on we can keep on adding more polygons to it. So I'm going to start with this. Oh. Okay, so this is, for example, my eye loop. I'm just gonna refine it a little bit by, if I click middle mouse button and hold it, I can move this any vertex anywhere. So I think this is an okay loop for an eye. Okay, so like you're using 3D code, so you basically know how to basically make a retopology for a mesh. So that's how you do it. But the thing that you have to take care of is where to actually make the loops. Like for example, I'm gonna make open the file we were studying yesterday, the three-eyed cat, and I'll show you the problem in it. Oh no. Yeah, one of the issues that I face when I change into Maya and Blender, I forget how the navigation works. Oh yeah, it's center click. Okay. And let me go, like for example, if I show you these bones, like this is the eyebrow bone, like these are the eyebrow bones for its facial rig. But the issue with this is like for an eyebrow to function properly, there are no proper loops for an eyebrow. Like this, there is one vertex over here, one vertex over here, one vertex over here, one vertex over here. So this, because of this, I cannot properly create the eyebrow raise animation from here. So you have to create loops in a way like you have to think about how the face is going to be deformed. So for example, this eye, right, like this is how eyelids are made. Like you make circular loops because it's going to come fall like this. So you have enough mesh to fall in such a way, and there are in certain loops that it can properly be deformed this way. But for this eyebrow specifically, because I had a lot of issue, I cannot add more. Obviously, I cannot. It's too late to add more edges over here, so I cannot properly make any weights over here, so that it actually feels like an eyebrow. So this is the issue that if you don't make proper loops, this kind of issue is going to arise. So you just have to think about how your face, or even if you are retopologizing the body, how your body or your face is going to deform. So you have to think about that. For example, now this mouth. Okay, so the loop goes in this direction, like it follows the mouth, because obviously the mouth is going to open from like this. So this loop follows this path. For example, just hypothetically speaking, if the loop was not like this, it was going straight towards the back, there probably might have been a corner or like a corner shaped edge or something like that at this point, which wouldn't feel nice while we are animating it or while we are deforming the face. Since the loop is in perfect loop is perfectly placed with the mouth, so this mouth can deform, basically this mouth can deform properly according to this, and the eyes can deform properly as well because the loops are correctly made, and this eye will also kind of okay, so there is a difference between these eyes and this eye. So we have the basic difference is like this eye has a lot of loops around it, like it has much more detail, but the third eye does not have that much detail. So obviously, like you can pretty much judge what the issue is going to be when you don't have that much detail. Since the loops are correct, it is going to deform properly, so it is going to be behave like a closed eye. But since there are not too many vertices around here, you cannot add too much detail. Like you are, like for example over here you can feel that the mesh is stretching out when you deform it, whereas when we select the eye, there is not much of a deformation in here. You can have a clean weight paint over here, but it's really difficult to do a clean weight paint over here because there are not that many vertices to smooth it out. So like for now, by this what I mean is like you only add loops where you need them. Like for example, this eye, you need the loops over here, and you probably need more loops over here, but you don't need that much loops on the mouth. Like you don't need that much mesh on the mouth and the nose because it's not going to be deformed that much as the eye is supposed to be. So you can have much less mesh over here. So these are the things that you have to keep in mind when you are retopologizing the mesh. So let's get back to the cow or bull, whatever it is. Okay, I have to think about the navigation again. Okay, so we start by making basic loops in Maya. Like I made the eye loop, now I'm gonna do nose. So you see the whatever mesh I'm creating is aligning with this bullhead. That was because I created a make live on this bullhead. Okay, the difference between retopology tools such as 3D code as you are using are for example that I keep forgetting the name of the tools. Topogun. So the difference between these tools is like Maya has a complete modeling set as well. For example, if I look at this eye, I'll select this eye. I'll select the edge of this eye, like so that in 3D we can I'm sorry, I'm just confused between the shortcuts of Blender and Maya because I keep switching between them and it's really tough. So I'm just gonna use these. So I'm gonna extrude this mesh from here. Cannot see properly. So I'm just gonna extrude this inwards. So I have to make this eye cup over here. So I can just in Maya we can model this eye cup like this, which is much faster than placing nodes and creating a small mesh over here. So I can just extrude this inwards. So this is the modeling function that we can get in Maya, but not in other softwares like 3D Code or Topogun or some other tools. So this is an edge that we have in Maya. I'll go back to the quad draw. So you see it's there now, so I can manipulate it as I want. Okay, one more thing, as I said, like when you're making the loops, I'm just gonna complete this nose first. I'm gonna keep as big of faces as possible. Like I don't have to worry too much about the detail right now. Like detail can be it is going to be added later on, but I don't have to worry too much about it right now. So I'm gonna extrude this one, and I don't know, extrude this from here. Like my hands right now are not that much fast because I have been switching a lot between Blender and Maya recently, so I keep getting confused between the shortcuts and everything for this. Okay, I was adding a little too much polygons here. I don't need to do that. As less polygons as possible. For example, if I need to add more detail to this, I can just press Control and add a loop over here, and it's going to, you know, simply create more mesh for this, and the detail can be added like that. So it's always better to have less amount of, for example, now that I have to obviously, like I'm gonna, let me select this. No. Okay, I'm gonna take it out from here. So I'm gonna take this one out from here, and I'm gonna join it with the eye, because the loop is going to go like it's going to join with the eye, and then so I'm just gonna keep extruding it and then join it with the eye. So the loop is, it's not a perfect shape how it's supposed to be. Actually, this was going to go like this. It's gonna go up. I should add a loop here and join this with this and this with this. So that's how I think it should go. Okay, as you can see, when I pull this close to it, it automatically attaches itself to the vertex. This is because the auto weld option over here is on, so it's really easy. Like I can just weld it over here. If it was not on, then it will be, you know, just hanging out. So the point is that if I had too much mesh already over here, then it would have been a lot of work to join this loop with the eye as well, because I had to match a lot more faces with each other. So it's better to have it like this. Another thing is like let me make this cheek as well. So I'm just gonna take this one out. I'm just gonna attach it here in one go. if I press Control and Shift, I can delete the faces as well that easily, because I don't think this was going nice. But let me add it here like this. Add an edge here, and this is fine.
Hey, can we reshare the stream?
It is
Like,
shared.
I some people in the room are having a hard time getting it, I guess. Can you just like call it again,
Okay,
I guess? I don't know.
okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay, can you see it now?
There we go.
Yeah, you can see it, right?
Yeah, good.
Just
For
a
some
second.
reason I can connect on my phone, but my laptop's like not doing it.
Come on, dude.
Right.
Okay, I'm just creating a really rough mesh over here. So I'm just gonna leave it like this for now. So the thing is, the few things that I wanted to tell, like whenever you are making meshes, be careful to make them in have a flow between them basically. So your mesh shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't feel like this is all jumbled up. Although this is if we see it technically, like this is fine. Like retopology, the mesh is in the same number like it should be. Like it's not too. Wait, let me just silence my phone. Okay, so the mesh will work, but the issue is you're just starting to retopologize, right? So there is not much mesh over here. Later on, you're going to add more mesh over here, and then because of these, for example, if I add a loop around here, so it's gonna follow that flow, and this is going to be a really messy mesh. It's not gonna deform. It's not gonna deform correctly like it's supposed to be. So just keep them as clean as possible. One easy way to do it in Maya is you press B and drag, like it's gonna give you a soft selection tool. So I'm gonna make a soft selection of this size, and then I'm just gonna press shift and it's gonna show me a relax tool. So I'm gonna, by clicking it, it's going to make these it's going to relax the mesh and make them equally spaced like this, so you don't have to manually do it all over again.
Takes the average distance between them and just kind of
Smooths
shrinks
it
it.
out. Exactly.
It's in 3D code as well.
Yeah. So yeah, this is I think Maya has modeled their quadro stuff, I mean this retopology tool on 3D code and retopology other tools as well. So it's a mixture of different tools. The only positive that I think that Maya has over others is the modeling thing. Like if I have to model few things in it, like I can just extrude it and model it by hand. 3D code I think is a good tool as well, as much I have seen in different videos. I haven't used it myself, so it's all a personal preference, whichever tool you want to use. I don't think Blender was a good option because I have used Blender with my own hands and it was really slow because I had to extrude, like I had to do this thing over and over again in Blender, so it was really slow. It's much faster if I just keep making polygons like these. Okay, what else is okay?
So why are we retopoing Satan?
Because this was the only high poly mesh that I had, and it's not Satan. It was supposed to be a bull.
Oh no, I'm just messing with you.
It's okay. Uh, Also in Maya, you have a complete set of shortcuts mentioned right over here. If you can see this, so there are a lot of things like uh, the- how to basically create polygons, how to manipulate them. So all of the shortcuts are right here. So if you forget something, you can just see it from here. Uh, there are two more things, like for example, if you could see this part, I intentionally did this. So if you see this part, this is like a star shaped part. This part usually,
Point.
yeah, this part usually messes up the flow of anything that you're modeling. So for example, if this, you have to be really careful where you place this kind of blocks. For example, this flow is going perfectly fine. This flow is going perfectly fine, but there is no flow over here. So you have to be
What
careful.
that looks like to me, that looks like a point where multiple starting points of the retopo
Yeah,
kind of met up there.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Like,
It is like that. It is like that. So yeah, so I just collapsed everything over here. So you're going to face this whenever you are, for example, when I'm going to match this with the neck, I might face some situation like this as well. But you have to be careful to place this point at a place where least amount of deformation is going to occur. For example, the cheeks are not going to be deformed that much at this point, so it is fine to place it over here. But if it was somewhere over here on the nose or on the lips or near the eye, just like I said when I was showing you this mesh, so this point over here, this point, so this causes problem because for the eyebrows, because I cannot deform them the way they are supposed to be deformed. The mesh stretches out from everywhere. So you have to place this point at some point where there is least amount of deformation happening. So if, for example, in this case, it is fine being here. And secondly, sometimes you'll have to like you have to be careful to keep it all quads, but it is sometimes you'll have to make a try as well. For example, if you are making like you closing this point, whenever you're closing this point, there will be one triangle in there, which is not going to be that much of a problem because you're never going to see it. It's going to be well hidden inside the eye. So it's okay to make a triangle and hide it somewhere. Never make a triangle on the face because it's going to show whenever it is deforming. It's going to pinch your mesh. So just make a triangle inside the eye or inside the nose or inside the mouth when you're closing the mesh. It's not going to be any problem. Not that I've seen any problem with this. This is also fine to make a triangle rather than making many more quads to just trying to finish off the mesh somewhere. Because when you're trying to clean the mesh and make everything a quad, you'll have to add many more faces or vertices to it to actually make it practically quad mesh. So it's okay to hide a triangle in there somewhere. I think while we're retopologizing, the most difficult thing is going to be the ear, because ears have really, like even in this case, they are really pointy and really small detail. Like I cannot create this sized mesh for an ear. I'll have to create a smaller sized mesh. I'll still try to make it as big as possible, but still the ear is going to have a really detailed mesh for an ear, because the ear is usually shaped like this. So this is the only like it's not a tricky part, but you just have to have patience while doing the ear, and then you'll have to join it with the other mesh as well. So do these eyes, nose, mouth and neck, all of this first, and then go towards the ear. So when you'll have to add more mesh to the face to match the ear, it's rather easier, because if you have too much mesh from the ear already, then you'll have to manipulate that amount of mesh for eyes and nose and mouth and everything, which can be cumbersome. So I think these are the basics of retopology. Rest of it is basically however you want to make the loops. Like, you have to think about it, because every face is going to be different. But if you since we are not doing humanoid characters, right? So humanoid characters usually have similar features. We can just retopologize one model, and then we can just reshape it the same the topology for different heads in humanoid if we have a humanoid head. So that is rather easier.
Chess.
Yeah, it is, but it's more like you just have to wait for it.
Hey,
Yeah,
we have a comment that we think is kind of important to talk about. So since the ears are oftentimes separate pieces on these heads, when we retopologize these heads from the sculpts, it would be easier on the retopology to just not do the ears at all. Just retopologize past the ears. You know what I mean?
So you mean to say if the ears are separate from the face, so we just don't retopologize the ears, we just do the face. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. Like where the ear would just be like a few flat quads.
So
Instead.
yeah. If I go to this model, so again I forgot how to navigate here. Okay, the middle button. So when we do our retopologizing the head like this, I also have a retopologized of this bull head. Wait, let me open that up as well. Just give me a second.
What year copy of Blender is that?
Which one? Like, I have two of them. There's
The
2.79 and 2.83.
okay.
Back
that's
in my
right.
day, Sonny.
That UI looked very old.
I have this. We survived the pyramids. The curse of the pharaohs. No, we're not that ancient. I mean, 279 was like just recently, and it's still good.
Okay, so this was the
I know.
head I retopologized for this bulb before. So like,
Bro, what a gamer.
so I did retopology of the ear along with this head, because when retopologizing, I just wanted to match the ear perfectly with the head. So, well, your point was valid as well. If we're having a separate ears, we can definitely retopologize them separately. But for this specific model, I wanted the ears to be exactly in the same place where it meets the head. Even though the ear is separate, it still doesn't feel like it is a separate entity. So that
He
was
got some wiggly boys on his eyebrow.
So, question here then
Yes,
is
true.
on this final model that we're using now.
Yeah.
Is this topology on the final model?
This topology, like, this is not a perfect topology as well, because I did it when I was learning to retopologize as well. So there are a few issues over here. For example, if you see here, like the mesh, this over here is not perfect. These lines are wiggly, they are not perfect. So there are issues over here.
Can I see where the model we have now?
Oh, which one? Like this one?
In our most okay, so if this is our most recent model that you're making now,
Yeah.
yeah, and what I would like you to do when it comes to the ears
Hmm.
is just retopologize past them
Mhm.
as though they don't even exist. You know, it should just be some flat quads in that area, and
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, we can do
yeah,
that.
yeah, and later on as we release the head, we should include the ears as something that looks good with that head, but not as something that's like absolute.
Yeah.
Cat without ears. That's my second life character.
Yeah.
No ears. Who
Yeah.
needs ears?
Yeah.
It's overrated.
Well, that's what they do, man. You know,
Yeah,
like the Second Life people,
that is
they
a plausible thing. Like, I was
Yeah.
looking at a different model that Zan was making. So he did exactly what you told me. Like, he's ignored the ears and made the retopology just go through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, 'cause
I think that's
yeah,
I think that's the best way to handle this
it is.
because I mean in this way we'll still include the ears, but they won't be required
Yeah,
in any
yeah,
form or shape. You know? And
exactly.
and because I mean I don't know, like maybe people will want like 4 sets of ears or 5 sets of
Exactly.
ears.
But
You know?
it's like it's also a preference. Like if you're doing only one character, for example, if you're making it for a game or something like in which ears don't have to be separate. Like we're making something in which ears have to be separate. But if your requirement is like you don't want separate ears, then you'll have to retopology it along with the head, so there are no seams or you cannot feel the difference anywhere over here. Because if you retopologize it differently than your head, it's going to show in your final model. There's going to be, for example, if I go here, and let me just go to.
Is that a Fennec Fox?
So if you
That's what Gretchen said.
okay, yeah, I don't know. I just keep
third eye.
I keep calling it a cat. I don't know. So if
It looks like
very
a Fennec
blue.
Fox.
if you look over here, so this ear was retopologized separately from this head, so you can clearly see the seam between the head and the ear. So
That is a very wise Fennec Fox. It has its third eye open.
Yeah, it does.
It's like the nine-tailed
Well,
fox
also-
from Naruto without the 9 tails.
without the 9 tails.
Hey, Mud.
Yeah.
I can make the
So
9
did I
tails.
tell you what's going on over in good old Oregon right now?
What?
So, there's a big wildfire near us, and it's also like for throughout yesterday, today, and most likely tomorrow, it's like 60 to 70 mile per hour winds.
Oh man, that's not like biblical at all. So watch out for raining frogs.
Yeah. Also,
yeah.
there's a fire, so and it's very
yeah.
dry, and it's
Yeah, so just be chill about things, and if like you start seeing like weird lights or hearing weird sounds or everything, you know,
I
just
hear a
you
lot of
know,
locusts. Don't know what's going on.
yeah, you know, just be chill to your parents. That's generally like, yeah,
I'm probably gonna die.
probably just be good about it. Just be a good boy.
Just be a
You'll
good
fine.
boy. Just be a good boy
Yeah.
on the day you die.
Just be a good boy. Don't die in vain. Don't.
You just have to be a good boy just a
topic
second
of-
before you die, so it'll all be you'll be forgiven for everything.
On the topic of Retopo, though, I was thinking about it. Why couldn't we just use, like, theoretically, we could use a neural network program,
Yeah.
give it, like, 100 of our perfectly retopoed heads,
Mm-hmm.
and then train it off that,
Mm-hmm.
so then it could do the heads for us.
Okay,
I've seen people do that before.
I'm gonna
and
show
some
you.
good
I'm
results.
gonna show you an example for this. Like, for example, I'm gonna reset this scene, and poof, all the hard work is gone. I'm gonna get the bullhead over here again.
I know a lot of programs have a auto retopo button, but
Yeah, for example,
it does it really tiny.
yeah, I'm gonna show you. There is a remesh button over here, and there is also a This button is retopologize button, so I'm just gonna click it, and it's gonna do the retopology for us, and we just wait for it to happen. Basically, the issue with the software is doing the retopology is like they do it really well, but the only issue is they don't know where to make the loops, because for example, for a face we need loops in a specific places. For example,
I know. You need loops around the mouth,
Yeah.
eyes, ears.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what I'm saying. If we use a neural network
Yeah.
and give it a bunch of the way those work is you have to train them. It's AI.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
train it off of like 100 heads that we made. It would see exactly how to make them, and then it would make its own based off that, and we can reprimand it where it does things bad, and then it will do it differently based off of the
Yeah, I
data
think
that we fed it.
that is,
It would include
yeah, that
stuff
is
like
possible. Yeah, that is possible. That whatever you're saying, it is possible. So we just have to create training data for it.
Would
I mean,
you?
I'll take a small deep dive into looking at that. I have
Well,
a very
For the record, if you guys have any question regarding any 3D stuff, you can ask me anytime. I'm almost all the time online here, so you can just ask me anytime. So I'm gonna go as well.
okay. I gotta go.
Yeah. Goodbye.
It's fun.
Have a
Bye, people.
Yeah. Have a nice day.
Bye bye.